despite going through whatever changes, in my head, you was born a certain way, that's where you are. Obviously, you can make changes, I get it, to become or identify as another. I feel like what you are and what you identify as is two different things. I don't see him as a woman. He wasn't born that way.
Okay.
That's just me.
Jay?
I don't care. Because whether I see him or her like what they are, they're going to still decide for themselves.
Exactly.
So
they identify
they're
as
happy with it. Fuck it. But there's two.
Yes, there is.
There's a side to it which is like, okay, I would say if you're happy with it, cool. But then you're clearly not happy. You've never been happy, which is sad that you've never been happy with what you was naturally born with. So it's
layered.
It's like, was that mental health? Was it not mental health? I don't know, because I've never been in that position. So that's why in these kind of things I can't commit because I don't understand it enough, and I can't ever get to that place because I'm not in a position that I will change my sex or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just don't care.
Yeah.
If that's you, that's you. The only thing is the way it's like, as Boosie was saying, it's like
I was just gonna say that.
It's like it feels like some of this stuff is kind of like forced, that people to have to accept it, and it's like you don't have to. If you don't accept something or don't like something, it doesn't mean that they're not allowed to live in whatever way they want to live. That's okay, but it's just not part of who you want to be. Yeah. It's like with Asian families and black and white families and stuff, when they say, no, I want you to marry an Asian man or a Bengali or like even within Asian communities or Indian communities, it's like, no, you have to marry an Indian, you have to marry a Pakistani, or specifically to your wherever it is. So, and don't bring in another colour, but it's not, we don't hate you, we just want to keep our purity.
It's not integrated.
It's the same thing. So it's like, you can be who you want to be, but it's not my thing.
And the reason why I ask, right, is because of that. Because, you know, everybody's entitled to do what they want. Everybody. For me, personally, Bruce was the all-man's man. He won a gold medal as a man. He's outdone man shit. You get what I mean? He's more man than man. But what I'm saying is that I can't say that I don't care. Ultimately, because of what's happening right now. What I'm saying is that it's gotten to the point where it's not just about the decisions that you make in society. It's about everything else around you, right? So the problem isn't that Bruce does what he does. Who cares, right? The problem is when you try to convince us that he's a woman by doing things like giving
Woman of the Year,
him Woman of the Year.
See, I think that was messed up on so many different levels.
No. It absolutely 100% is, and this is why people like us can't afford not to care, because if that's allowed to run, you're gonna have a society defying logic. And it's just logic. It's just, as you said, he was born a certain way. No matter what you do, you can't change that.
Your DNA is still the same.
You can't change that. There ain't nothing you can do, actually.
Well,
no,
there's a few things you can do, but it still won't change that.
But that's the point. You can't do nothing. There's nothing that you can do to change that fact. Some things just can't be changed. Do you get what I mean? Because it's out of our hands.
Yeah. It was never in our hands in the first place.
But then when the narrative is to change everyone's mind because it fits an agenda that you don't actually want us to know what this agenda really is, you know, what it really consists of. So you want us to be in a certain space, but you don't want to be honest.
Yeah.
Because what's dishonest is the fact that you can say that this person we know was born a certain way isn't that person. And we should call them something that we know it's not. That's wrong.
What's your thoughts, Raj?
I'm kind of there with Jay. To be fair, I don't keep up with Caitlyn Jenner. I don't keep up with it. I don't know much on it. I think I somewhat kind of stay away from these subjects because I don't know how people feel inside. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, even when it comes on to, because then you see with, I'll go back. See with him changing to be a woman, does that mean that has that changed your sexual orientation? Are you now gay? Now, so you date.
That's uncomfortable
like,
as well.
It's a conundrum for me. But what I do know is that people, it's their life, it's their choices. I can't control that. I can only control in-house. I don't really know.
The thing is,
Because
when
even when I
you say
think
that,
about no, because even if we was to touch on people being in gay relationships or whatever, when did you come to that point that I like the same sex, or when did you come to the point that you liked the opposite sex? Do you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to orientation, so I don't know how people are feeling inside, so I can't.
See, and that's why when you say about caring, like that's why, like yourself, I can't say I don't care completely. Like I know one or two people that are trans, yeah.
Okay, wow.
But they were also gay prior to the change. So you see, like when you're saying like, does that mean you're now gay? Are you still like so? Effectively, now they've gone from liking the same gender to liking the opposite gender, which but they still wouldn't say that they're now heterosexual. Like the people that I know, they wouldn't. I don't know if they would even claim anything. But before, when they would have said, "Oh, I'm gay," when they're trans, I've not heard any of them say, "Oh, I'm now heterosexual," because their thing is their preference hasn't changed. All that's happened is they physically made changes for themselves. And like you said about them feeling, they've said, all right, they've always felt lost within themselves. Like the body they were in wasn't theirs. It didn't belong to them. So if you explain it to me on that level, I understand what is being said to me, but I can't understand in the sense of I haven't experienced anything like that to say I can fathom what you're saying to that depth.
I think the labels create such, like, I'm just aware that there's a gender of division and all these labels create things, and it's like, well, why are you promoting this as well? Like, it's issue. Not it, and the promoting, it does two things. It segregates certain people and it just creates division. So I'm like, that's why I'm saying I don't care, because I know what it's the motive of that is, because you start talking LGBT, race, all this stuff, and it's like, I see this.
But then they went too far with the award thing though, because you've got how many women in the world, that are doing, but I'm saying that are doing bits for humanity, for this and for that. You got Woman of the Year. For what? And then they're saying, it's because it took so much courage to go through that transition. Do you know how many women on a normal day have to go through mad transitions, and it's not out of choice?
This is why
and you got it for that.
Conversation is important, because when and I'm going to say this because it's true, when my man got Woman of the Year, he wasn't a woman.
And that's the thing.
Like,
he was still going
that
through
process.
He was still going through the transition.
I don't even think that process has even happened yet. But this is what I'm trying to say. Like, but even if that did happen, right?
You don't have
man isn't that. So when you're actually, as you said, because I didn't even really think of it, you got women.
Yeah, that are going through daily struggles.
And you're saying that, because I'm sure that there's like so much that they've done in their life, you wouldn't even think of picking them because it doesn't suit your narrative. But you're not telling us what your narrative is.
The narrative is clear.
And that is, that's the thing, it's not clear.
It's blurred.
But the reason why it's not clear is because of when we speak in reference to him him or her, her, him.
No, that I'm saying the narrative, if we look beyond the smoke,
Mm.
there is a clear narrative,
Mm.
which is we don't want you to be aligned with who you really are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because their agenda is to make you, remember there is probably a depopulation agenda of some sort. So why would they want you to be aligned with your natural self? They want to put these things in so you're not happy. Because if this happens a lot and it's promoted and all this stuff, then you're not gonna have kids, are you?
But
What else is
I
interesting?
was about to say, you've got enough women in the world as it is.
The only,
Yeah,
thing,
no,
the only thing I find with the whole changing sex or transsexual,
Yeah.
sorry, we're going to leave the labels, but
Yeah.
it's because it's aesthetically changing. It's just
That's
aesthetically
it.
changing.
Your
There's so
DNA, your chromosomes, nothing changes.
there's, and not even just that, in terms of the society we live in, there is things that we go through as different genders. There's steps, do you know what I mean? Like puberty and womanhood and pregnancy, and there's all these things that are linked to us biologically that we go through. Yeah, that we have. Yeah.
You don't have
So
choice
when
about
when
that.
a man, or whichever way around, you get to a ripe old age of 40 and 50 and that, and then you're changing. I'm like, you've missed the whole
Menopause.
You've missed
skipping
the
menopause
whole
shit.
Yeah, it's just like you've missed the whole steps of what makes a woman. Well, it's not just because you get to put on heels and you get to put on dresses and you get to. There's
That's
so
what it is.
much to
And-
us as women
Right.
than how we dress.
Right.
Sorry, an important
Right.
factor. You're aware of because another thing for me, I'm aware that not all women can have children. Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are
Yeah.
issues
Yeah.
that people have. So, but if we put that aside, not to demise it or anything, but just to put it aside for a second, yeah, naturally as women, we are carriers, yeah? We have a womb, we have a uterus, all of that, yeah, that enables us to, should it be functioning. But as a man, you don't go from being a man and say, let me change to a woman and all of a sudden end up with those things.
No.
So there's things like you said that we can't do. But